Created in 1968, Polaris, aka Lorna Dane, first appeared in the X-Men issue 49. As a mutant, she's been a part of the X-Men team, X-Factor, Starjammers, and even was one of Apocalypse's horsemen once upon a time. Also, Magneto's her dad, so there's that. It goes a long way in explaining her abilities to control magnetism, or rather her electromagnetic manipulation. While there are similarities to Daddy Dearest, Lorna is very much her own mutant, and today we are going to be taking a closer look at what she can do with our list of the top 10 superpowers you didn't know Polaris had. Starting us off in at number 10, magnetic field manipulation. Let's begin with the basics. Lorna is an alpha level mutant who has the ability to manipulate magnetism. She can lift and manipulate metal, she can liquefy it, mend it, or reconstruct metal objects, and has shown some influence of ferrous metals too. Theoretically, she has the potential to do all things that Magneto can do, but has only ever used her powers to manipulate magnetic, electrical, and gravitational fields, and hasn't been able to summon the same amount of energy that he has in the past. But hey, maybe one day she'll get there. In at number 9, magnetic pulse and energy absorption. Bit of a double whammy at this number. Let's talk about what Polaris can do with the energy that she manipulates. Now, she's able to focus her magnetic energy into concussive blasts to use against foes in combat. But it's not just blasts. She can also use them to overload or short circuit electrical systems, and can use it to the extent of destroying a whole spaceship with a single pulse, which is something she actually did to a Shi'ar warship once upon a time. Or, flip side of that, she can also absorb energy through her magnetic force fields as a means of temporarily boosting her own strength. She once absorbed Storm's lightning blast, Havoc's energy beam, and Cyclops' eye beam all at the same time, which boosted her so much that she was able to propel an entire island from Earth into space. Moving on to something much simpler, and at number 8, flight. Okay, bet she knew she could fly, but did you know how she does it? Similar to how Magneto is capable of levitating and flight thanks to his magnetism powers, Polaris can pull off the same trick, enabling her to fly. Now this is done by suspending herself while riding the Earth's magnetic field, which actually is, it's pretty straightforward. In at number 7, electromagnetic spectrum manipulation. In addition to being able to manipulate magnetic fields, Polaris can also manipulate the electromagnetic spectrum. Now this means that Lorna can manipulate different kinds of energies, such as electricity, as well as electromagnetic and magnetic energies. Now she has a connection to the electromagnetic field, so she is able to handle gamma energy, electric energy, X-rays, ultraviolet energy, visible light, lasers, and potentially much more. Her limits with this ability are unknown, but are definitely powerful considering she ranks as an alpha level mutant. It is worth noting that this ability functions much like her father's same control over the electromagnetic spectrum versus someone like Storm who can manipulate almost all of the energies of the spectrum. Still, not too shabby. And at number 6, force fields. Lorna can create magnetic force fields that she uses to either protect herself from physical harm or to extend across others in order to protect them. It's also a means of her moving or suspending objects or individuals in the air. Now she creates a magnetic force field and then moves them with it. And as we'll get to a little later on, those force fields do come in handy for more than just defensive maneuvers. Speaking of moving on, in at number 5, let's talk about her tech. Now aside from her powers, Polaris has some pretty cool equipment that she uses. Now for starters, she dons a biohazard containment suit, which also has a nifty little metal belt that she would often manipulate to use as either a weapon or a tool. In addition to that, she had a cybernetic nanobot grafted into her right eye by Serval Industries, which allowed Harrison Snow to see whatever she was seeing at any given time back in the all-new X-Factor issue 3. Up next at number 4, geomagnetic link. Because of her ability to perceive and manipulate the magnetic field, Polaris' powers are innately tied to the Earth's electromagnetic field. If the Earth's EM field is affected in any way, she can sense it and feel it. It's like having an extremely insightful intuition, in which at all times she can sense what happens to it instinctively. This link grants her something that has been argued to be an immortality of sorts. The Earth can lend her strength simply by existing, and this isn't something that she has control over. She just draws from this strength unconsciously. And at 3, electromagnetic sight. Yet another skill that Lorna shares with Daddy Dearest. Polaris has something called electromagnetic sight. Now this means that she can perceive the world around her as patterns of both magnetic and electrical energy. And it's not just the world around her either, it's the people in it too. Or life forms, rather. Lorna can perceive the natural magnetic auras that surround other living beings in her vicinity. And at number 2, metal and matter manipulation. So this one might be a little bit obvious, but the extent of this power is where it gets really interesting. It shines and surprises. So of course, Lorna can manipulate and levitate objects with her electromagnetic fields that she can create. This doesn't just apply to metal materials though. Non-metal can also be affected because it stems from the fields, those force fields that she creates. She can manipulate gravity to a much smaller extent, and she can also manipulate non-metallic objects if they contain any metal ores in their structure. Best of all, she can do this on a subatomic level and is able to perceive it as such. In addition to this, Polaris can also morph metal, physically bonding metal substances to each other and to other elements. So she can bend alloys to a ton of different substances, including watery, earthen, gaseous, and, terrifying of all, organic ones. Yeah, don't want to think of the implications there. Finally, in at number 1, organic iron manipulation. Here's one that's a little blood chilling, because it has a lot to do with blood. Due to the astute control over her powers, Polaris can manipulate the natural iron that is found within the bloodstreams of living organisms, meaning she can f you up from the inside out. She's able of doing damage in a subtle but fatally effective way. If she were to reverse the blood flow of an individual, she could render them unconscious. And to really freak you out, this power casts a wide net if she so chooses. She can do this to a large group of people or to crowds all at the same time. Imagine a bunch of people just getting knocked out just because their blood flow has been reversed. Alright, there we have it, friends. What are your thoughts on Polaris? Do you like Lorna? Give us a shout in those comments below and let us know your thoughts and feels. If you dug this video, you guys know what to do. Share it with a friend, hit that like button, and be sure to subscribe to Top 10 Nerd if you haven't already. Why haven't you? You should. Please do. We want to hang out with you guys some more. In the meantime, thanks for watching. I'll catch you all in the next video.